Welcome back to another experiment video here on Madden 24, and today we're going to be looking at, does overall matter? For a long time now, I have been looking at our rebuilds and our stats and seeing like, wow, how the hell is our 95 power move, 79 overall DT putting up only 3 sacks on the season? Or, you know, a player that has no block shed, no power move, but they're a decent overall, they put up some decent numbers, and the numbers just seem to be all over the place. Now, I know this isn't going to be perfect, right? I could do 50 of these scenarios and it still probably wouldn't be consistent, but we want to see if there is any correlation, as there should be at least a baseline, right? Like if Orlando Brown is a 69 overall, right? That's a low overall. But you look at his ratings like pass block in the 90s, he should not be giving up 20, 30 sacks. So if he ends up giving up that many sacks, we now know, okay, overall plays a bigger factor than the ratings themselves. As sure, awareness might be important, kind of, but does it really matter, right? Like, the guy in front of you is the guy, right? If you get a twist or whatever, sure, but that's not what is in Sim. Sim is your left tackle versus their right end. That is all it is. That's all it should be. It should be, if our guy's a 90 overall left tackle, their guy is a 68 overall right end, there should be almost no chance in Sim, even if it could happen in real life, right? Like, a guy gets really lucky, whatever happens, that he should get more than 1 sack in that game, right? So if we're saying that that's how it's supposed to be, then Orlando Brown should give up less than 10 sacks. But if he ends up giving up more than 10, then we know there's a good chance that overall plays a factor. Or the other possibility is that EA Sim is just completely busted, because we have seen many times now where our 90-plus overall tackle gives up 8 sacks, and it just is not something that happens in real life. Now, I will say, though, other positions might be a little bit better for this. Joe Burrow, we have as a 60 overall, but look at the accuracies. 90 throw power, 90 deep, 90 medium, 90 short, 90 throw on the run, 90 play action, 90 under pressure. Unless awareness and break sack are that important for a quarterback, Joe Burrow, despite his overall, should play well here. So if it is a overall thing, he's going to suck this season, which should not happen, once again, because he is very good. It's just his overall isn't. And you kind of probably get the gist by now. I'm trying to keep this experiment as, like, you know, static as possible, and I think that's what I've done. You know, all 90s, but Joe Mixon is really low overall because of awareness. You know, that shouldn't matter. It just shouldn't matter. Unless awareness matters that much, it just shouldn't. To list all the players that we have changed, I didn't do every position because there's really no point in looking at tight end, right? It just seems like if you want your tight end to develop, slap the Chiefs playbook on. But in general, you know, a receiver is a receiver. You know, a quarterback is a quarterback, running back is a running back. So if we have the running back, doesn't really matter the fullback anyways, because fullbacks, they don't matter in this game. And we've already done kicker in the past. Kicker punter is just completely random, it seems. But O-line, I don't need to do left guard, right center, right tackle, because, well, actually, maybe I do. But you know what? We're just going to either expose EA or not. So, you know, Orlando Brown should give up less than 10 sacks. If he gives up more, we've exposed them with this overall. And then on the defense, we have done Jeromepkr, who it might be a little bit different because the defense does kind of need, in my opinion, awareness, play rec kind of stuff more than the offense because it's hard to keep up. So this could be a little skewed, but at the same time, a 73 overall, only thing he's missing is play action and awareness player. Should at least at the minimum, be a good player and not just like some like 60 tackle guy. But I don't think middle linebacker is going to matter too much anyways, because they usually, no matter what talent level they have, they get a decent bit of tackles, and that's kind of it. Trey Hendrickson, another guy where everything is in the 90s except for play action and awareness. I wanted to keep that overall as low as possible while keeping all those other ratings great. Those numbers should be no less than 5 sacks, and that's on the low side. I would say 8 minimum. So if he puts up like a 3.5 or less sack season, then you know that overall probably plays a factor. Or once again, EA is just, they got to revamp their entire system, which both might be the case. Same with Awuzie. Play action might make, might be huge. Awareness perhaps, strength maybe, but those base ratings got to account for something, right? Even the catching alone. Interceptions at least maybe. I don't know. But that is what the team looks like. We're going to rock the Bengals offense and defense, as I think some playbooks like the Cowboys, the Chiefs, they kind of just overwrite overall in general. And I also did turn off progression, so we're going to head on this exact same lineup for the depth chart on the other side, and we're going to compare these numbers and see if there's a difference and how big of a difference. And this might not even be a gotcha, right? Because like I said, awareness and play rec, there's a reason why it affects the overall so much, because maybe it really matters in the game. I'm pretty sure it does when you're playing defense specifically. So maybe this isn't a gotcha and this is more of a learning experience. Whatever it is, I felt like how many times in rebuilds I've said stuff like that, like, I don't know how much overall matters, or I don't know if I should be upgrading this, because yes, it's getting the smarter plays that I want if I'm actually playing the game to go up for ratings, but in rebuild, the overall is not going up. So maybe once and for all, we'll actually know, perhaps. But we go 4-13, which is definitely a bad sign when it comes to the low overall, but very good, can they still win type of sim here. Let's take a look. If Joe Burrow sucked, I mean, at least for the quarterback position, I think we have our answer about overalls. But you can see those touchdowns are low. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely conclusive in my opinion, as he's in the 90s for every throwing ability except for awareness and break sack, which once again, you can argue awareness. What is awareness? Is awareness reading the field? Because if it is, that's more important than almost any accuracy or any throw power, right? If you had the perfect field reading, you could be an average Joe off the street and be an NFL quarterback, even from the 10 to 20 yard range. So maybe it's not a gotcha, but okay, so it does actually factor it. Joe Mixon. This one I think is conclusive, though, because his big drawback is his awareness. Awareness shouldn't matter here, because if we're saying ball carrier vision actually does what it says it does, he should have the vision to find the open space. He obviously has the speed. He obviously has the broken tackle stuff. He shouldn't fumble because he has all those carries. Of course, it clinches out with his catching, but that's kind of irrelevant. That's conclusive as well, right? The overall, specifically for running back, we have kind of thought for a while now, has played a factor. Now we look at wide receivers. You know, the only thing bad on him is his ball carrier vision, apparently. I don't know why that doesn't really matter, but his awareness, right? And everything else is great. 90 across the board. You should be getting 1,000 yards a season, which they kind of did, all kind of similar. So I gotta say, this might be conclusive that, like, overall might help a little bit, but we've seen wide receivers not put up, you know, true number one wide receivers because of scheme not put up over 1,000. So this one might actually be pretty reflective that, okay, overall doesn't matter for a wide receiver. You might just, 78 is not bad by any means, but you might be able to just go for those ratings. But at the same time, I would like one of these guys to kill it. It could have been the scheme once again, though. And then blocking, let's see. I think that's conclusive again as well. You can argue awareness matters, but in a scenario where, okay, things did just kind of, they did kind of break, though, so I am a little worried. But you could argue, the stunts or a blitz, awareness would affect their ability to read that. That's not really what should happen here, as I might even use this pick as just like a clickbait, because look at these numbers. But the pass blocking is great. His speed is, serviceable, but because of that overall, he struggled. I'm going to have it on the other side, obviously, where we have a decent overall, but our ratings suck. So, once again, we'll should have something conclusive. Sack totals, yeah, I mean, that's another conclusive one, right? Assuming he did start. 1,070 downs played, 0 sacks, despite the fact that he has 90 in all the pass rush ability ratings. That's, once again, conclusive. It is absolutely conclusive. Did we have defensive? What about, do they have catches allowed? They don't have catches allowed, do they? I thought they used to, no? Do they not? Am I dumb? I swear they used to. I thought if they had, pass deflections versus catches allowed. Well, either way, I don't know. The fact that Awuzie had 1 interception, despite the fact that he has 90 in all the, ratings for catching and coverage, that's pretty low, right? That's pretty low, but those numbers have been kind of iffy. And then tackles, like we said with Pratt, I think this one might just be chalked up to the fact that as long as you're the starting player at linebacker, you're going to put up tackles, right? So nothing's going to be conclusive, but I will say the two that really were conclusive for me, even though tackle is a bit confusing at times, it just random seems like Orlando Brown giving up 19 with 90-plus pass blocking, and then obviously Trey Hendrickson getting 0 sacks. despite the fact that he literally has 90 and everything. Those were the two, and the running back. Those were the three conclusive ones. I do want to see, however, on the other side, what changes are made with a higher overall squad. And I know I'm yapping a bit, but at the same time, this is one of the most important experiments I've done in a while in this game. Of course, the overalls are not perfect. The only way I could really get their overalls halfway decent, despite the fact that there should be bad, is like this. So once again, it's not going to be perfect, because if I lower that throw power, I lower those accuracies, he's going to be a bad overall as well, and there's really no experiment here. That's the best I could do. 70s in the accuracy, 99 throw power. That should be like an okay season, but he shouldn't be like a top 15 performer, right? I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's tough. Quarterback might not be possible, but running back, this one should be another conclusive one. He should not be doing well with 80 speed, 80 excel, and no breaking tackle abilities, right? Maybe the catching, because his catching is good, but everything else, that is not a running back that should put up even close to 4 yards per carry, let alone more. Receivers is another tough one because you can only do so much without the ratings dropping super hard. But this would be a receiver that I would obviously be like, okay, this guy's not even starting, let alone am I expecting them to do well. 80 speed, 80 excel with like really mid catching and route running and all that. If he puts up over 1,000, that there's something there. And of course, we did that for all those players. Or there might have been a mess up. I had to fix the ratings. It's the best I could do, right? He's not terrible at pass blocking, but he's not very good, right? This is not a guy that should be, because he's an 89 overall, giving up less than 5. But the tackle position, it is kind of random anyways. So I don't know how this is going to work out. But we'll see. We'll absolutely see. We did everyone else on the offense, so let's move to the defensive side now. We will now move on to Trey Hendrickson, who has 70 power move, everything else pretty much 99, and he's a 91 overall. So 70 power move, but 91 overall. So that should be no more, because of 70 power move, than 5 sacks in my opinion. 5 or less is probably the fair number, but because he's 91 overall, he could put up double digits. Another kind of inconclusive one on this side, but we'll see. Maybe it'll actually work out. Another tough one here, as if you take away all the tackle, his overall is going to die. So the best I could do was give him 1 block shed, 70 zone, and a 1 man coverage. That's really all I could do here. I mean, there's not really much more that can be done to make him like a very good player, but some very core things like block shed and coverage be bad, I should also maybe take away catching if I can, as if he has 0 catching, he shouldn't be catching any picks. And then for the final one, 88 overall, Chidobe Awuzie with 50 man, 50 zone, 50 press, 1 catching, and basically 99 everything else. Let us see what the sim has in store for us. And a better record, that's for sure. Another thing is that I did do the ratings a little bit better in this one. Instead of having 70 power move for Trey Hendrickson, which somehow could skew it, I ended up going with 70 block shed instead, which still put him at an 87 overall. So in theory, these numbers shouldn't reflect good. And I mean, you've seen Joe Burrow. His numbers, they weren't terrible ratings, but they were not 33 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,045 yards. I mean, I think, especially with Joe Mixon here, I think we have solved it. Overall is absolutely the leading man when it comes to getting good stats. Jamar Chase, another really good example here is, he's mid as hell, right? He's mid as hell. Oh, did I mess up? I may have forgot to throw the XP out. Doesn't matter. He's still really slow. He should not be doing that well. I thought I changed it. That might have been like the one position I didn't get to. Wait, what? Or maybe I accidentally just didn't change his ratings or something. I don't even know. But, yeah, I'm not really sure why he's... Or did I have that at set that? I don't know. Either way, doesn't matter, as it's still conclusive as hell. Even if he was 99 route running with 80 speed, he should not be putting up 1,600 yards. Like Renfro was higher than 80 speed base, and he never put up 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns. So there's that. The rest might just be because Jamar stole so much. Looking at the O-line, 9 sacks is a hell of a lot less than 19, especially for a guy with only 70s in the pass block. Another one that's proving that while left tackle and the offensive line is a little iffy at times, obviously Jones at right tackle, it's definitely an overall thing in my opinion. What about Hendrickson? Put up some numbers. See, now I can't tell. 3 sacks. Is it overall? Is it power move? Finesse? I've seen it so many times where like I have a really bad player putting up good numbers and a really good player putting up bad numbers. So I don't really know. Pratt, hard to tell because once again, tackling, I feel like anyone being there, it gets the job done. What about the cornerback? Awuzie, 4 interceptions with a really high overall, but 0 catching ability and 0 covering ability. So I think we've proven it, at least with some of the positions. I think corner has been proven. Even though, 3 sacks is pretty low anyways, I think edge, it does matter, the overall still, but you do need the finesse/power move anyways, so it's kind of like a two-headed sword where you do need the overall, but you still need the pass rush ability. O-line, I think, is purely overall based. Receiver, purely overall based. Running back, we've been known it's pure overall based, but now it's proven. And quarterback is pure overall based. So, yeah, I mean, this was actually a pretty productive experiment for once. And I want to know what you guys thought of it. If there's any other things in the game you think need to be tested out, let me know in the comment section below. I'm happy to, I would say always happy to do it. Some of these, the build-up, changing the ratings and whatnot, sometimes a little annoying. But yeah, I mean, I think that was a very productive one for once. And while we knew the answer to some, we didn't fully know the conclusive answer for others. So we now know some things. And personally, maybe I don't go for pass rush as much all the time. Maybe I change some of the ratings for receiver. I don't care that they don't get the deep route or the medium route or the short route up. I just care that their highest archetype, like deep threat. Maybe I don't care, but I just go deep threat every time now because I know it gives you some of the best upgrades. So I don't need to worry about those other ratings because as long as he's a high overall, he seems like he's going to perform. Running back, we kind of knew that already, and it doesn't really matter too much. But in my opinion, you're trying to do a rebuild. Elusive back gives you the best upgrades, so why wouldn't you go elusive? Same with quarterback. Strong arm's kind of the best for throw power, which is one of the best things to get your overall up. Strong arm might be the way. So that might change some things up for rebuilds. And if you guys enjoy this one, maybe leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, I really do appreciate continued support on the channel. Maybe follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PKR Plays for non-Madden content. I uploaded a Spider-Man 2 video yesterday, and there probably will be one tomorrow as well, along with a rebuild perhaps. I'm not exactly sure when all that's going to come out, but you'll see a rebuild either tomorrow or on Monday, and you will see a Texans franchise video a little later today, and boy, is it a good one. Should be 3 videos up total today. And then, of course, that Spider-Man 2 episode on the second channel yesterday. So plenty of content, maybe too much. But anyways, I love you. I appreciate you. And hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya.